Hi, hello, Vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. So, in this video, we are going to see how many transactions can we see in the view results tree, and also we will see about the settings part where we can set up the maximum numbers so we can see the entire transactions. Uh, there are a few steps to do that. And before we move on to this video, this is me, Vasan Shanmugam. I would like to welcome you all to Little Sly YouTube channel. And today is again Performance Engineering Day, the 5th of March. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share the video with your friends, and like the video. So now let me take you to the video. So for example, let me take one of the script which I have created. And what happens is if I'm running a test, so some of us, not everybody, but some of us are still um, want to run the test in the GUI mode. And most of us would want to see the transactions, whether they pass or fail, and they want to see how why does it fail. And this is mostly for the sake of the debugging, and some of them would really want to know what happens when they run the test during the load test, like what happens during the load test, like if there are any errors or something, like what exactly is happening. So whether it's a test data issue or whether it's a server issue or whether it's a performance issue. So some of us are really eager and some of us are really curious to see the results in the view results tree, right? So although we have options to view the errors, but we do not have an option to see what exactly is happening as we see in the view results tree, right? So there is a lot of difference, I would say. There's quite a lot of difference. So in this video, I will explain you what exactly can we see in the view results tree and how can we increase the number of transactions so that we can see the entire set of transactions. But again, there is a risk involved, which I will tell you in the video. So say for example, if I'm running this test here, like for example, like with 100 threads and with 10 iterations, let me save it and let me start running it. And if I come to the view results tree, I think I have added thing time. Okay. So now if you see the number of transactions, so it has been cross. I would say we could see HTTP request one at the top, and then slowly after some point of time, we could, if I'm doing a scroll automatically. So after some point of time, the very first few transactions will be removed outside, or like they will not be available in the view results tree, right? So so now the test keeps on running, and we have got almost 700 and like more than 800 hits. But when I see in the view results tree, on the top, if you can see, we could not find the very first few transactions, right? So um, what is the maximum number of transactions that we can see uh, in the view results tree? So the maximum number of transactions that we can see is around 500 transactions, and that's been increased from the version 3.2, the JMeter 3.2. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, most of us, not everybody, but most of us would really want to see the results during the testing. So this is for them, and here you go. So I have the test is completed now, and I cannot see the top few transactions. So coming back to the jmeter.property, so if you go down to your bin folder, and under the bin folder, let me open the Visual Studio Code. So here, if you see the jmeter.properties, which is the file here, the jmeter.properties, and this is the file which contains all the jmeter properties, and out of which search for view.results.tree.max, and coming to the part here in line number 1218, if you see there is a line number which tells that the view.results.tree.max underscore results equal to 500. And also you can see the maximum number is around 500, right? So maximum number of results in the results tree is around 500, and we can set it to 0 to store all the results. But here is the risk. So it might consume a lot of memory. So if you can handle the risk of the memory consumption, then you are good to do this testing, right? So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is something JMeter or the Apache is trying to optimize in terms of the memory. So in case if you can handle or if you can manage the risk of this memory short, if you really have a very powerful machine which can handle this issue like the memory thing, you can really do it. So anyways, let me try and see. Let's try and see how does it happens. I understand it's going to uh, crash my memory, but still, let's try it with the same set of tests. So let me save this file, and at least I'll try to save my machine in a simple terms. So far you saw that we have made the changes, and after that, on top of it, I'm making few changes, like in a way to identify that which transaction are we seeing. So for that, what I did is I'm adding a counter here. So this is a counter which we can add through add by clicking right clicking on the thread group and going to the add, and then coming to the config element, we can see the counter. So I have added a counter here, and I'm just having only one transaction so that it's easy for you to see how does it work. And I'm adding the starting value as one, so this is the first. This will tell us that this is going to be the first transaction, and then I'm incrementing it by one. So for every transaction, automatically the counter value will get increased. So for example, like if there is like 600 transactions that's been running, so we'll get the transactions from 1 to 600, and I'm exporting the variable number through the counter value. So I'm adding this value here. So every time when this request is being hit, we get the number which will automatically increment by 1, 2, 3, and till the end. And coming back to the thread group, I'm having 60 threads and 10 iterations. So basically, in the previous before we made the change, we saw that. We were able to see only the top 500 transactions, and now after this change we must see all the 600 transactions starting from the number first transaction, right? So we have made the changes. We changed from 500 to 0, which means we should see all the transactions. And now we will run the test here. And yep, let me start the test. Override existing file. Let's go to the view resource tree and wait for that. And coming back, okay, let's go to the view resource tree. So here you can see we have got the first transaction. So starting from the first, and then the second transaction, third, fourth, and the last one so far is around 150. So I have selected scroll automatically, and this will help us to see the latest transactions. And now we have crossed almost 240 300 mark, and we will wait for another 300. So meanwhile, let's go to the top and see. So here you can see we are able to see the first transaction, and we are closely reaching the 500 mark, and in next few seconds we'll be reaching it. And yeah, so we have crossed the 500 mark. So I'm going to uncheck this scroll automatically, and let's go to the top of the transactions. And yeah, so still we were able to see the first transaction. So, and let's come down. Yep, so we can see the 600 transaction as well. So the test is completed now. And this showed that we have broken the limit. So hereafter, we will be able to see all the um, transactions, since we have changed the value from 500 to 0, so which is like unlimited. So this, I think, will help you to see all the transactions. But I should also show you this, which is the uh, warning from JMeter, because they have clearly mentioned that view results tree must not be used during load test as it consumes a lot of resources, which is memory and CPU. So use it only either functional testing or use it during a test plan debugging and validation. But still, you really wanted to see the errors during your test, and in fact where you really wanted to run your test using GUI mode. So that's the reason I have given you this choice, so you can use this condition. You can enable this, or you can do these changes. So by making these changes, which is changing the max results to 0, you can see all the values, and as I told you, it will consume a lot of memory, but still your requirement is going to see all the results. Yep. So in that case, you can see all the transactions. But there's one more thing which I wanted to tell you. Make sure, so after you make all these changes, do a restart of your JMeter. Otherwise, none of your changes will be reflected. So that is a key point, because most of us, what we'll do is will make the change and we will try to run the test and see, and there is no changes that's happening. So this is my recommendation to you, and this is mandatory. So you make, after you make any changes in the properties file, you must, or you should definitely um, restart your JMeter, right? So I think this video would be very useful to you. So until I meet you in another interesting video, it's bye bye from Asan Shanmugam and your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. Bye.